It's Bengals, it's Eagles, it's the preseason finale. No starters, but plenty to watch for. Let's get into it right now on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. Hi again, everyone, and welcome in to CBT. I'm James Rapien of BengalsTalk.com. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube and ring the bell so you join the 67,000 plus Bengals fans that get every video delivered directly to them. By subscribing, you get notified as well when we go live randomly, and it has been random, and it will continue to be random at times because we're here to bring the best coverage for you. And let's start here. There's multiple weaknesses on this Bengals roster, and that's where my eyes will go on Friday night, starting with the offensive tackle position. Can an OT3 emerge? Will the real OT3 please stand up if he's in the building? Is it Javon Foster? Is it Jalen Rivers? Is it none of the above? Is it Brian Parker? Will the Bengals put Brian Parker in a position, give him a chance to show what he can do at tackle? We have not seen it in practice. Maybe we've seen it in, maybe they've done it in practices that were closed to the media, but I would like to see him there. I think he's had a really nice camp. But you look at the interior depth, and much like Jalen Rivers, it would be nice if you could find someone, Parker, Rivers, maybe it is Foster, that can play tackle as well. But Parker, if he can play tackle, even a little bit, even in a pinch, that means he's a five-tool player and really, really valuable. So that's the first thing I'm looking for is the real OT3 in the building. Because if not, it's a whole nother conversation. And I think that's the number one thing this preseason that you need to figure out in preseason game number 3 ahead of cutdown day on Sunday. So there's number one. Number 2 is who plays, who doesn't at linebacker, and how much do they play on defense? How valuable are they? Because I think we have 2 linebackers that are roster locks, really 3, but obviously the starting 2, Barrett Carter, Demetrius Knight. I'll put Oren Burks in the lock category. And then after that, it's like, okay, well, who's next? We've spent all offseason talking about linebacker. Swayze Bozeman? Is that the guy? Is it Shaka Hayward, a guy that's thought of highly in the building? Is it Joe Giles Harris, a guy that I think they like a lot? Is it any of those guys? I don't know. I don't know about the cornerback room. Is Josh Newton going to make his way onto this roster, or is it going to be Jasir Taylor? And you get some nickel flexibility with Jalen Davis and Jasir Taylor, as well as Daxo, who continues to miss time. Obviously, he's not going to play Friday night. I want to see what those corners can do. And that's what's really, really interesting about this is you look at the linebacker room, you look at the corner room, it's pretty unsettled after the obvious keeps and guys that you know are making the team. And so we'll see. We'll see what happens there as far as that the battle goes. I think safety, pretty decided. We'll see. But I think PJ Jules has a clear lead on the rest of that room. For that 4th safety spot, we obviously know about the big 3. Do they need to see more from Cedric Johnson, or is Cedric Johnson making the roster? For me, I would have Cedric Johnson on my roster. I'm not sure if he's going to make the roster. We'll see. Can McKinnley Jackson do anything to bolster his trade value? I think that's an interesting element too, because McKinnley is not making this roster. Not with Dexter Lawrence and TJ Slayton and Jonathan Allen and BJ Hill and Chris Jenkins, I think are all locks. And what I think is interesting about this preseason game coming up on Friday night, will Landon Robinson play? How much will he play? That's a factor here. Will he play a few snaps? He'll get a start and get a few drives, play a first quarter, play a half, play the full game, play close to the full game like he has in the first 2? Or have they decided what he is and what he's going to be for this team, a 53-man roster lock? For me, he would be. I think for them he is. I don't know that for sure, so that's something I'll be watching for on Friday night. We still have plenty to dive into. On offense, there's a ton. Josh Johnson expected to get the start. We know that. How much does he play? Is this the Sean Clifford game? I think that's a factor. Could Josh Johnson make the roster? He could. I think it's tough for him to do it. I think it's a tough path. We will see. What we do know is Jamar, T, Andre, all locks, all not playing. How much are you going to play Colby Young? Probably some. But this is where it gets interesting. How much does Dohnte Myers play? How much does Mitch Tinsley play? Does he need to play? Or is this the Kendrick Pryor, Xavier Johnson, Jordan Moore, Keyshawn Williams type of game? I think Charlie Jones is going to play some, but maybe not. If they think he's the first returner, maybe he doesn't play much. Maybe they need to see Dohnte take some returns or just want him to get experience returning the ball more. And so he doesn't play on offense, but he does everything else, which is returner, any kind of specialist help, any kind of specialist work that they want him to do. I'm not sure, but I'll be watching for that because those are all indicators. Is Mitch Tinsley out there a ton? Are they going to showcase Mitch Tinsley for a trade? I think McKinnley Jackson, I think Mitch Tinsley, two intriguing trade candidates for the Cincinnati Bengals. I would even throw Chris Jenkins in there, even though that's less likely. I think they like Chris Jenkins. I think he's going to be on this team and on this roster. No, but certainly as I look at the depth chart, that one stands out. Tanner Hudson, how much does he play? Does he play a lot? Because for my money, Drew Sample, Mike Gesicki, Eric, all locks. Cam Grandy, really intriguing with how they've used him. Does he play a lot, or are they comfortable with him as a blocking tight end? And then Jack Endries. He's someone that I look at and think that he's going to be able to make an impact in a big, big way long term. And you got to keep him on the roster. So we will see there. But I look at this overall, and for me, the wide receiver, who plays, who doesn't, big factor. And then the offensive line, I mentioned it, OT3, that's a huge factor. Outside of that, is Jacob Bayer in a ton? How much of center does he get versus guard? I'd want to see him at guard. Want to make sure that he can play guard, because for me, I want to find a way to get him on the roster. But I need to be able to make sure he can play guard if needed, if he's going to make this 53-man roster. So there's plenty. There's plenty to watch for. There's plenty to eye. There's plenty to consider. And a lot of it has to do with playing time and risk and how much of those they take. Playing time wise with these guys, how much risk they take with these guys, we will see. What I do know is we have you covered right here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you ring the bell. Make sure you follow us wherever you get your podcasts. And it is here. Football season is here. The preseason wrapping up, which means the regular season looming. Tick, tick, tick. The clock is ticking away. Have a great weekend. We will obviously have you covered every step of the way. And until next time, for Andrew Fox Miller, I'm James Rapien. Thank you so much for watching and listening to Cincinnati Bengals Talk.